Thanks, Mike. Hello and welcome to Hyde Park and the Westminster Serpentine Regatta, the 88 version. I've just been out on the course there. Let me tell you, there's a very strong tailwind which will assist fast times. Competition this year expected to be as strong as it ever has been. Ironic really that we've got a wind like this today. It's exactly 12 months ago that the park here was laid bare by that extraordinary wind which ripped the heart out of the south and the southeast of England. Well, for the organisers of last year's regatta, that meant all sorts of problems, shattered boats, thousands of pounds worth of damage, but in the best traditions, the show went on and we had a terrific end to the international racing.
The Russians looking across to the British to see exactly where they are, and stroke for stroke they're matching them. And the shout there of go for home now by Patrick Sweeney. He's trying to bring the best out of this crew, and they're coming up towards the line now. They have the edge over the Russians, or do they? Because the Soviets are coming back very, very close on the line. Well, just who has got that one?
Well, the photo gave the win to Great Britain, and that meant that the Great Britain team tied with the USSR on points and shared the prizes for the international competition. Well, such was the success of last year's competition that all four teams are back. Great Britain, again led by Holmes and Redgrave, the Olympic gold medalists and current world champions. The USSR, their challenge led by Yakushka and Marchenko, Olympic favourites in the double sculls, they ended up with a bronze. Italy, with 2 gold medals in the Olympics, are one of the world's top rowing nations. And the French, traditionally fast starters, they're always going to be in with a shout at an event like this. Well, those of you that were with us last year will probably remember some fairly innovative pictures that we managed to shoot on the water out there through a camera like this, mounted on the side of a helmet. It was worn by, amongst others, Pat Sweeney, the Great Britain Coxed, who's with me again now, and who will be wearing once again this helmet this year. It doesn't look, Pat, I have to say, necessarily comfortable.
It's not. It's quite uncomfortable, and I spent 3 weeks in traction after this last year.
It's also fairly heavy. I would think it's probably going to double your body weight, isn't it?
Yeah, with the battery pack and everything else, yeah, it's going to be a bit heavy.
So you'll be thankful, to be serious for a moment, of the tailwind.
Yeah, the lads aren't going to have to row as long in the tailwind, so they'll be able to go over the course of it.
And competition this year as strong as it's ever been?
Yeah, very strong. The Russians are going to be quick off the start, and the Italians will be very strong over the second half of the course.
Well, you might as well get used to this, may we, just for a moment?
If you have to.
Pat, good luck. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Let's go and find Roger Thomas, who'll run through 1 or 2 of the other races that we'll be watching on the water today. Roger.
Thank you very much, Richard. Well, of course, here today on the Serpentine, we've got very many different types of races. But my personal favourite, my old friend, the dragon boat. This dragon boat here is actually made of fiberglass. It's a rather clever copy of the original Chinese wooden boats. They brought them over here to London last year, made a shell and a cover, and now we have many of these fiberglass boats here. It's a very enjoyable sport which is getting a great deal of following all over Great Britain. From towns like Cardiff up to Liverpool, all over the West Country, all over the Midlands, and even farther north. It's an interesting sport in that the boat can actually hold 22 people, 1 drummer and 1 steersman, and 20 people in the boat. It's enjoyed both by men and women, and I'm sure later in the day you're going to enjoy watching these giant boats as they head across the Serpentine. But now it's time to join John Helm for the first of the international rowing events.
Yes, this is where it all begins. The crowd have really been looking forward to this one, the Coxed Fours, with Great Britain drawn in lane 1. And there they are, and nice to see 3 Olympic medalists, Andy Holmes, Martin Cross and their Cox Pat Sweeney. The Soviet Union too, a very strong crew indeed. And we can expect the two of them to be battling it out. And there is the Russian Cox, Alexander Lukyanov, said to be in his mid-50s, though he might dispute that. And away to a good clean start. Italy are in lane 3 and France are in lane 2. Good conditions, very good indeed in fact. It's a rather dull afternoon, but the actual rain conditions are good. And we're going to eavesdrop now and watch Pat Sweeney is saying to his crew.
It's the now! Good start! Lift the chest up over the knees. Leading it by about 2 feet. Relax out. Hit the beginning.
It was good to hear that, and obviously in good voice, Pat, and he'll be urging this British crew all the way. And it's worth reminding you that first place gets 4 points, second place gets 3, and for the moment the Soviet Union in lane 4 look to be going very well indeed. As I say, they are an experienced crew, but the British putting in quite an effort there. Andy Holmes in the spectacles, and what a name he made for himself, along with Steve Redgrave of course in Seoul, really taken rowing into a new era for Great Britain. And just like Pat Sweeney, it would seem that Alexander Lukyanov is urging his crew on, and they're coming towards that finishing line now, and it's a battle between the Soviet Union and Great Britain. It looks like being a really good finish, this one. It's going to be close. The Soviet Union in lane 4, Great Britain are in lane 1, and I think the Soviet Union edged it. Very, very close indeed, but a good race to start with. Well, the British crew gave it absolutely everything. They gave it their best shot, but looking at the Soviet smiles, they feel that they've won. And looking now at Great Britain, who struck up a very good rhythm and were always in touch throughout that race, I think they probably felt they got it as well. Yes, indeed, Andy Holmes saluting there, but it wasn't to be. The Soviet Union touched first, and confirmation here, they won in a time of 1:26.97, Great Britain second, France third and Italy fourth, so the Soviet Union take the first 4 points of the meeting, Great Britain 3, and I'm hearing now that France have been demoted to last spot because of a problem at the start. They've just taken 1 point and Italy get 2.
Well, that's where we'll leave the international racing for a moment or so. Next on the water, dragon boats, and that can provide us with a bit of fun. And Steve Redgrave representing Great Britain. So it's over to John Helm for the race. John.
Thanks, Richard. Yes, and Great Britain certainly looking to Steve Redgrave here for points. He'll probably start as the favourite, but it'll be a terrific battle between he and the Soviet Union representative. More of him in a moment. We were just looking there at Filippo Soffici from Italy, who's in lane 1. Steve Redgrave there is in lane 2. And here in lane 3 is the Soviet Vasily Yakusha, 30 years of age, and he won a bronze in Seoul in the double sculls. And in lane 4 for France is Fabrice Leclerc. Well, Pat Sweeney has jumped out of the boat and joined me in the commentary box, and it's going to be interesting to see how Steve does in single sculling here.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Steve hasn't sculled for a long time. He did some in training for in the winter time, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can actually get this sculling boat going today.
Well, he's 6'5", he's 15 stone 10 pounds, and he uses every single muscle and sinew in his body.
Yeah, he's born natural. He's got a lot of strength, and he moves fluently as well. There's a lot of flowing about his movements, and you can see that he's moving away quite nicely here.
Over in lane 1, Filippo Soffici from Italy, the 1988 World Junior Sculling Champion. But the race at the moment is between Redgrave and Yakusha, with Redgrave edging it for the moment, and he's got off to such a good start, and he's been able to maintain that rhythm. He's looking very strong indeed, and looking very relaxed too. But Yakusha will chase him all the way. But how Great Britain need the points here from Steve Redgrave, with the Soviet Union going into this race in the lead. But Redgrave, his mind intent here on getting 4 points for Great Britain, and he's showing tremendous technique.
Yeah, Steve's actually starting to crack the Soviet sculler at this point. You can see him moving away. He's going to take him. Keeps going like this and he'll crack it.
And he'll be delighted, I know, because of course he's not raced since Seoul competitively until now. You can see now he knows he's got the race won. He's really smiling, and so Steve Redgrave comes home for Great Britain in first place and takes the 4 points. Vasily Yakusha will be second for the Soviet Union. Filippo Soffici of Italy is third, and Fabrice Leclerc of France finishes fourth. Victory then for Great Britain over the Soviet Union. Let's hear what Steve Redgrave made of the race. He's with Richard now.
Steve, well done. Comfortable in the end?
Yeah, very comfortable. I got a good start. I was really worried about a single because I haven't done a lot of singling recently, and I was up against some very tough scullers. To win as easy as I did, I'm very pleased.
Did you feel you were always in control of that race?
Right from the word go, yeah. I sort of got a nice comfortable lead at half a length, and for some of the boats like the Ace, it's blast all the way. You can't do that in a single. You've still got to pace yourself. So I could afford just to take it down, have a relax, let them come back to me, so I could go again at the end. And when I decided to go, I just opened up a big gap and just paddled in the last 100.
Well, exactly. I was just about to say, closed it down once again over the last 100.
Yeah, it's a nice way to do it.
Steve, well done.
Thank you.
And this is the effect of Steve's victory, with Great Britain and the Soviet Union now tied at the top of the team event table with 7 points each. Well, now look at this unusual shot, which is from a helmet camera aboard the boat Buller in the men's gig boat final. And this is certainly an unusual event, but one which appeals to Rodney Bewes, the actor, who's out there with a crew from Newquay in the boat Speculation Point. Well, coming up soon, the double sculls with Sally Hassan and Adam Clift going for Great Britain. Last year they featured in a terrific finish with the Soviet Union. Do they remember that race?
Well, first of all, we didn't really know our pace. It's a new combination, so I thought we'd come here and give it a go. We set off the start. We had a very good start, and we was actually surprised that we were up on the Russians because they were a very good double. They were world champions from the year before. Anyway, we came off the starts, very good, going along, and suddenly they started coming back on us. So Adam shouted, up sail, up sail. So I got it up, tried to get up, went faster and harder for as long as we could, but they just put us in the line. And it was a good race for us, more than we expected actually.
Did you know as you came across the line that they'd won it?
Not immediately. It wasn't until they looked round and they were cheering, they were happy, then that's when I realised. Up until then, I had no idea.
Well, before we talk to Adam, let's just remind ourselves, shall we, of that race. As I said, a terrific finish. The commentator, Phil Liggett.
And the Soviet Union are nosing ahead, but they're being challenged well here by the British. And coming through on the inside, Clift and Hassan are coming back well. Look at this now, neck and neck as they come up towards the line, between the British pair on the near side of the camera and the Soviet pair. Right on the line, and that really is a photo finish.
Well, a photo finish it was, and as we know now, Adam, the Russians just edged it on that occasion. Presumably you're hoping to go one better this year.
Yeah, certainly. Sal and myself are pretty slippy out of the blocks over this distance. It's a different type of rowing to 2,000 metre rowing, where this particular Russian crew won the bronze medal, and we're pretty confident.
Well, we wish you well. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
And it's good to hear that confidence. They'll certainly be looking for revenge here. Adam Clift and Sally Hassan representing Great Britain again. They are in lane 3. There they are. And their big rivals are expected to be Alexander Marchenko and Vasily Yakusha in lane 2. They won the bronze medal in Seoul in the Olympic Games this year. Away we go. In lane 1 for France, Luc Crispon and Fabrice Leclerc. And in lane 4 for Italy, Lucia Della Noce and Roberto Fozzaro. But most eyes will be on Great Britain and the Soviet Union here, Pat Sweeney.
Yeah, oh, the Russians are getting caught up there. They caught a crab, the bowmen caught a crab there, and it's going to give Adam and Sally a bit of an advantage, but they're getting caught up. They're going to have to clean it up and take more advantage of the Russians' mistake.
But they are a strong crew, and I know they do get on pretty well off the river as well as on it.
Yeah, they do. They're a couple of characters, and they bring everybody back to reality, the way they carry on.
I think they've got to be characters. Adam Clift, 26 years of age, comes from Rochdale, and Sally Hassan from Stoke Newington, so a very different type of character. But they're going pretty well at the moment. It looks like hard work out there, I must say that.
Yeah, all the boats are having trouble. The wind's got up a little and it's getting a little rough. Sally and Adam are steering over the buoys, you can see, and getting caught up. I hope it doesn't affect the overall result. They're going to have to just clean up their act a little bit now.
They're also going to have to look out for the French, because Luc Crispon was a gold medal winner in the 1985 World Lightweight Single Sculls, and the French are coming up well here.
Yeah, they're starting to move. Sally and Adam are now going to have to not tie up over the last few hundred metres and just stay on top of it.
but obviously that bad start did have an effect on the Soviet pair, and I think that Adam and Sally feel as though they might have it won, but they're going to have to watch the French over in lane 1. It's a terrific finish again, just like last year. Comes to boiling point does this race. Did they get it?
I think they might just have got it. They just kept it going that little bit longer.
They certainly look rather pleased with life at the moment. But the Soviet Union, with that, I think they caught a crab early on, and that badly affected them.
Yes, the bellman, if you watch his right hand, he just starts getting caught up. Yeah, he's just there. You can see him. He's just there. It goes. That was the one. That probably lost the full momentum of the boat.
And that turned out to be a terrific bonus there for Adam Clift and Sally Hassan. They'll be celebrating tonight, all right, because they've actually won the race. So it's Great Britain first, France second, third the Soviet Union, and fourth Italy. But the good news for Great Britain, victory for Adam Clift and Sally Hassan.
You like close finishes, don't you?
That's what it's all about nowadays, international rowing. Everyone's there together. It's great.
Another terrific race though, Sal.
Yes, well, we had our eyes on the Russians, and then all of a sudden the French came from nowhere. So we put our heads down and went for it, and we won. Complete surprise.
Indeed they did win, and by the narrowest of margins, though that doesn't matter. Just like how close it was. Great Britain first in a time of 1:29.16, France second, and surprisingly the Soviet Union back in third, and that's the effect it's had on the overall table. Great Britain now leading by 2 points from the Soviet Union. Right, time for the second semi-final in the Dragon Boats. Roger Thomas again. Redgrave and Holmes are going for the gold medal here for Great Britain. Romania trying to get back at them. Yugoslavia are lying third. It's Redgrave and Holmes coming up to that last 10 strokes. And it's looking good. It's looking like gold for Great Britain. And it's going to be gold surely now. The Romanians are still there.
That's
Holmes and
sensational.
Redgrave have done it. They've won the gold medal. What a tremendous performance.
Well, Andy, Steve, somewhat belatedly in a sense, but many congratulations.
Thank you.
That was some performance.
Yeah, it all went more or less to plan. Didn't win the 2 golds, but gold and bronze, not bad.
Last time we spoke, this time last year, obviously the Olympic preparation in full swing. But what now, Steve? Are you staying together, looking ahead to Barcelona perhaps?
Well, the plan is at the moment to stay together and see what happens over the next few years. It's a long way off. It's a big commitment to keep going that long, but at the moment we're planning to stay together.
Yes, right now I suppose you feel as though you've done your bit. It would be nice to start earning some money, Andy.
Yeah. Well, it's just 4 years is such a long time. I mean, 1 year, you know, if one of us gets run over next week, then that's it, isn't it? You know,
Yes,
just got to take 1 year at a time.
Yeah. All right, let's look no further ahead than today's racing then. In the pairs, good competition out there today, isn't there?
Yeah, because some good racing. They've got the Russians who never turn out duff crews, Italians as well, and the French. You know, it should be a good one. Should be tight anyway.
I'm sure it will, and interestingly enough, the Soviets have actually taken the boat that Steve and Andy usually train in, that they have been training in anyway, and here is the Soviet crew, Valery Vievich and Igor Zubarenko. The crowd really excited at the prospect of seeing Steve and Andy for the first time competitively since Seoul, Pat.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this boat that they've literally taken off the rack and have jumped in. Paddle down to the start and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, they're away anyway. France in lane 1, Italy lane 2, Great Britain lane 3 and the Soviet Union in lane 4. But Steve and Andy are in trouble. They're in terrible trouble here.
Yeah, something's wrong. There must be a breakage for this to happen. There's no way that there must be a breakage. They put their hands up, but it's not going to do them any good. It's a special sprint race, and they won't restart this race.
That's absolute disaster for them. It's calamitous really for Great Britain as well, because it means we're only going to get 1 point out of the race, which is now left between France, Italy and the Soviet Union. But a real buzz around now as to what has happened to Redgrave and Holmes. It's the last thing anybody was expecting here.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see it a little later on. I would say that now the Russians should walk this race.
Well, they were 6th in Seoul. We're looking here at the Italians, Giuseppe Di Paolo and Carlo Gaddi. But, well, there's no other word for it but disaster for Great Britain, and that's what most people are thinking about here. But we'll concentrate on the race with the Soviet Unions, Vievich and Zubarenko hitting the front in lane 4. And it's certainly going to be interesting to hear what Steve and Andy have to say after this, because they are so competitive. I know they wanted to win, even though it's a friendly event. But the Soviet Union and Italy battling it out here. The French are out of it, and the Soviet Union in lane 4 coming up, and they're going to try and nick it right at the finishing line, and I think they've made it as well. It's Soviet Union 1, Italy 2, France 3, but Great Britain tragically down in 4th, scoring only the 1 point. Victory then for the Soviet Union, and they will be delighted as much as they'll be surprised as to what happened here to Steve and Andy.
Well, they're paddling back, but I got a feeling there is an actual breakage on that rigger of Steve's. We just have to see it from another angle.
Well, we can have a look now, actually, Pat, as the Soviet crew relaxes. This is what happened. Now, talk us through this.
They're getting off okay. There's a lot of power applied to the rigger, so the gate, which is on the rigger, and I'm wondering if just the force just popped that gate out and they lost it. Yeah, it looks like it. Yep, there it goes. Yeah, the rigger actually went, the gate went, and they've broken it.
Well, and they will be bitterly upset, I'm sure. It's a big disappointment for them, and so Great Britain will only get the 1 point out of the race. And here we see the Soviet Union were first to the finishing line ahead of Italy. Let's hear what Steve and Andy made of all that.
Andy, Steve, very difficult to tell from where we were. What on earth happened?
Equipment failure. Russians nicked our boat, so we have to find one, and it falls apart around us.
That was the next question, actually. The Russians took your boat. Yeah. There's some confusion at the start.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We had to find this boat at the last minute. We didn't really have time to check it over, and as you see, it's full of bits.
All rather embarrassing one way and another, eh?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
We were half linked up when we stopped.
We'll have a moral victory for that. We don't get any points for it, but...
Yes, they did. They got 1 point, but the Soviet Union, who at the start of that race were 2 points behind, and now a point in front, they lead by 13 points to 12. So a gate on the rigger broke, and I wonder in the final analysis just how costly that might be to Great Britain's chances.
Cheers. Welcome back to the Westminster Serpentine Regatta. Trifle broad-shouldered. We're having a very pleasant day of it here, as it tends to be the case at all major sporting events these days. It's big business, as well as good competition on the water. There's a lot going on behind as well. A lot of major companies use events such as this to entertain major clients and friends. The London Electricity Board and Air France here, for example, are both sponsoring this event and races, and they've both taken marquees on the water side. It's quite a social gathering, and good business as well, it has to be said, as the chairman of the London Electricity Board, John Wilson, explains.
Yes, but this event is not designed around business entertainment. This is an event designed to provide a spectacle for Londoners. London Electricity Board serves some 260 square miles in the centre of London, with nearly 2 million customers, and this gives us an opportunity to put something back into the community which we serve.
There was a fairly broad invite extended to the customers for this event too, wasn't there?
Oh yes, well, quite clearly we have our own guests that we want to bring along, but the main event is to make sure that people who live in and around the centre of London can enjoy themselves watching events they wouldn't normally see on the Serpentine.
And are you enjoying your day out, the rowing more especially?
Oh, very much so. The rowing is very good. We could be a little bit warmer, but it's a better day than it was last year. Last year we lost the whole of Saturday due to the storms on the 16th of October. Today, well, over this weekend we've had 2 full days of rowing, and it's not raining.
And it's to the eternal credit of the City of Westminster that they do encourage events in the centre of London. Over the years they've staged cycling, athletics and show jumping in Hyde Park, and now it's nice to see sprint rowing back here, reviving the old tradition on the Serpentine. And obviously even the animals enjoying themselves today. But let's get back to the official business. Soviet Union now leading by 1 point from Great Britain. Italy are lying third, and France bringing up the rear with 7 points. As we go into the quadruple sculls race, here is the Great Britain crew, but the Soviet Union will start here as the favourites. They finished 4th in Seoul, and that was perhaps a little disappointing for them, Pat.
Yeah, they've had a strong tradition in the quad sculls over the number of years, and to be out of the medals was a big disappointment for them.
Completing the lineup, Italy in lane 3, France in lane 4. In fact, this is perhaps an appropriate juncture for you to explain to the viewers just what is the difference between rowing and sculling.
Sure. In rowing, each oarsman will have one oar, and in sculling, as you see here, the sculler has 2 oars, which he has to control. He has to be better coordinated in some ways to be able to have the skill to keep this moving.
And we're looking now at the Great Britain crew. So Adam Clift and Sally Hassan in action again. Their legs will certainly let them know it's been a rather busy Sunday for them. Nick Burfitt and Mark Buckingham make up the British crew. The Soviet Union in lane 1, though, very experienced, and they've got a bit of a point to prove here, I imagine.
Yeah, after the disappointment in the past few years, I think they would like to really establish themselves again as a sculling threat to the world.
Well, we all know what tough competitors the Soviets are, but Great Britain are going to go all the way with them here. For the moment, it's the Soviet Union leading from Great Britain in second, and all 4 crews are going to be involved right to the death here. And it's so important that Great Britain, even if they don't win it, do get a second place, because there are 10 points to be had for finishing first in the 8th race, which is to come. But the Soviet Union look as they're going to get the 4 points here. Great Britain have got a real battle on, though, to hold on to second place, but I think they've just done it. It's going to be Great Britain second, France third, Italy fourth. But I wonder if the Great Britain crew themselves knew exactly where they finished. They're with Richard now.
Well, we know the Russians won this time, and the second place I can't tell you. We were lying in second until the last few stages, about 100 metres to go, and then the other 2 crews came up on us, but I can't say where we finished. I just don't know.
Well, we can tell them they did indeed finish second, but the Soviet Union winning in a time of 1:22.80, a highly respectable time for the British finishing second, Italy third, France 4. But what that means is that with 10 points on offer for finishing first in the 8, Great Britain are still in there with a chance of winning the overall event.
Well, that's the situation at the moment. Before we take a look at some of the club races, let me just bring you up to date with 1 or 2 of the results from earlier in the day.
The women's gig boat final was won by Newquay. Way Kayaks took the Kayak Fours final. In the Dragon Boat Invitation race, the London Electricity Board won £1,000 for charity. Kingston were victorious in the women's Dragon Boat final, while the Olympic silver medalist, the American Anne Marden, won the women's single sculls. First over the line in the women's 8 final, the Thames Rowing Club. Whilst in junior competition, Hampton School won the quad sculls. In the senior competition, the Coxed Fours went to Leander Rowing Club, and Andrew Johnson from the Lee Rowing Club took the single sculls. The men's 8s, well, let's go over to John Helm for the final.
Yes, this is the highlight for the club rows, and here we're looking at Goldie in lane 1 from Cambridge University. Here in lane 2, the University of London, who perhaps start as the favourites. In lane 3, the Leander Club, and completing the race in lane 4, London Rowing Club. Well, Pat, just how strong is club rowing in England at the moment?
It's getting stronger. With these crews, they're made up of many people who've come back from trying out for national teams. So these boats have been made up, and we should see a very good race from these crews today.
It must be very difficult these days to try and get 8 together.
It is. You can't have any weak links in there at all, and everybody has to be really moving it on. So it's very difficult to get 8 bodies.
Good conditions here, and University of London got off to a good start. Johnny Hulls stroking for them, of course, silver medalist in the Junior World Championships. And they really did get off to a bit of a flyer, but they're going to be pushed all the way by Leander. But look out for the University of London, they're in lane 2. Leander are in lane 3, and so those would appear to be the favoured lanes at the moment.
London Rowing Club over here in lane 4, they're at a disadvantage. They're a small crew, a lightweight crew, and really for this 500 metre racing you have to have the size, the big bodies, getting the boat moving off that start line.
There's a good crowd on the embankment and very enthusiastic about the finish here, and not surprising because it's going to be a really close one is this. The University of London and Leander, it's between these 2 crews, and there's only a couple of feet, if anything, between them at the moment. University of London trying to hold that advantage as they come up towards the finishing line. It's going to be a terrific climax to the races, this one. There's literally nothing between them, but I think the University of London have just edged it. That's surely got to go to a photograph.
Yeah, that was very, very tight. Only the photograph's going to pull those two apart.
Very strong race, and it just showed how strong club rowing is, I think, there, because undoubtedly a good time put in by the winning crew, which was indeed, as we see now confirmed by the photo, the University of London. They've just edged it from the Leander Club, and their time 1:19.41. Tremendous race that. And the University of London win the men's 8 final, and this is their prize, a colour television set which has been donated by the London Electricity Board and being presented to the winning crew by the Lord Mayor of Westminster.
Tremendous performance, they're obviously elated.
They're wonderful. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip.
Now we come to the Dragon Boat final. We have 4 teams, and this race has got a very special impetus to it, as the winning team will have the opportunity to go on a subsidised trip to Hong Kong next year for the international Dragon Boat racings in the middle of next summer. And in lane 1, Lincoln, lane 2, Tyne and Weir, lane 3, Way, and lane 4, Kingston Royals. And tremendous competition for this, the final of all the weekend's endeavours. On your right there you see Kingston Royals in the blue going very strongly in lane 4. But on the far side, Lincoln in lane 1, lane 2, Tyne and Weir, who've done very well earlier in the competition, lane 3, Way. And there's the Kingston Royals. They've got a very strong team. Jock Wishart, their captain, is a triple British international sportsman, having rowed, sailed and drag boat raced for Great Britain. And also Anton Allers, the Australian motocross champion, before having his right leg amputated after an accident, and he paddled also in Sydney, Australia, before he joined the Kingston Royals. So quite a team. And at the moment it's Way, who did so well in some of the early finals, going very well. But now the Kingston Royals coming back strong in lane 4. Kingston Royals, who put a lot of hard work into their training and take it very seriously. I'm told the average weight of their team is 11.5 stone. Now there's Way going very well. Way and Kingston really having a battle, and it looks very tight at the moment as they come up towards the last 150 metres of this 500-metre course. Of course, in the international filings they have to go further, a complete 640, but at the moment it's Kingston Royals going very, very strongly in lane 4. Kingston Royals in blue, closely followed by Way. Then we have Tyne and Weir in 2, and on the far side in lane 1 it's Lincoln. But at the moment we're having a really good challenge coming out there in the centre. It looks like Tyne and Weir having a good go now. And next to Tyne and Weir in lane 3 it's still Way going strongly, but Tyne and Weir fighting back. In fact, it's the 2 middle clubs at the moment really heading into the last 50 metres. This is very exciting indeed. And on the far side, Kingston Royals coming back strongly, but Way in lane 3, they're really going. Weir are going very hard, and Tyne and Weir are dropping back a little bit. Way, it's Way now. Are Way going to manage it? It's Way and Kingston Royals fighting for the line. Is Way going to just be there ahead? It looks like Way's going to cross. Yes, and Way has just done it from Kingston Royals, and third is Tyne and Weir, and finally Lincoln. Well, what a very thrilling finish there from Way first, and second Kingston, and third Tyne and Weir, and fourth Lincoln. Well, a tremendous final.
Way Kayaks then, the national champions, and they're now nominated to attend next year's Hong Kong International Races as the representative of the British Dragon Boat Association. Well, our last international competition today, the 8s. Just before we let the boat go, Pat, tell me what you've got on board there.
Okay, each individual member of the crew will have their own compartment. So a movable seat, their own shoes, which lift up at the heels to allow full mobility and flexibility.
Shoes fixed in place.
That's right, they're screwed in. But again, they are movable up and down to allow for the length of legs.
Each oarsman with his own individual rig?
That's right. Each rigger is again fully adjustable.
And this one travels in 2 separate halves. Any advantage to that?
Not really. The main advantage of that is that it just makes it easy to travel with. They do make them in one piece as well.
And the cost? Plastic hulled?
7,000 for one of these.
And just before we let you go, let's go down and have a look at where the hard work's done, shall we?
Sure.
Not much room for you down at the far end?
No, that's the smallest but most important seat in the whole thing.
I didn't spot the cocktail cabinet.
No, I'm waiting for a builder to put one in.
Okay, Pat, thanks for that. Let's go back onto the water, shall we, and rejoin our commentator, John Helm.
It all looks like terribly hard work to me, but while they're loading the boats into the water, we can draw a comparison between this year's times and last year's at the Serpentine Regatta, and with the exception of that first race, this year's races have been much quicker. That obviously has got something to do with the strong cross tailwind that's prevailing today. And the situation going into the last race, the Soviet Union lead by 2 points from Great Britain, but with 10 points on offer to the winners of the men's 8, Great Britain can still win the overall event. And there are Great Britain drawn in lane 1. In lane 2, France. And then the Soviet Union, who Great Britain must beat if they're to win the regatta. Soviet Union are in lane 3. And Italy, they are in lane 4. Good conditions today, no advantage to be gained in particular from any one of the lanes, but it's going to be a fast and furious races. This one, away they go, and we can see from Pat Sweeney's camera there that the British made a good start with Steve Redgrave stroking, Mark Buckingham was at 2, Martin Cross at 3, Nick Burfitt at 4. Now Nick is the only survivor from the Olympic 8 in Seoul this year. He was stroking there. John Garrett is at 5, Simon Beresford 6, Andy Holmes at 7, and Adam Clift is the bow. This really is the blue ribbon event of any regatta, and the British made a good start and they're holding it at the moment over in lane 1, but they'll be looking to lane 3 and their big rivals, the Soviet Union. Well, thanks to the modern technology we've got these days, we can actually hear what the Coxes say. So as they come up to halfway, we can hear Pat Sweeney.
250 metres! 250! Karen! Now!
Well, Pat's certainly going to be hoarse tonight, but he won't mind if he coxes the British crew to victory here. And for the moment, it's very good because Great Britain in lane 1 are leading. The important thing is that they beat the Soviet Union to take the overall championship. Great Britain look as though they're in first at the moment. The Italians are coming up. They're closing on the Soviet Union, but at the finish it looks as though Great Britain have got it. And the British crew are raising their arms. They feel that they've won. We'll get official confirmation of that in a moment. It certainly seemed as though they beat the Soviet Union, with the Italians coming through to take second, but as I say, confirmation of that in a moment or two. Meanwhile, we can find out what the British crew think about it down on the riverbank.
Can you hear me underneath that, Pat? I'll give you a moment. Steve, did you think you got it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Very
Pat
close.
says that it's very, very close, but we got it. If not, the Italians were there, and as long as we beat the Russians, that's what counted for the championship. So I think we've got the championship, whatever. But I think we've got the 8th race as well.
It was a marvellous finish, wasn't it? Were you aware of the atmosphere on the bank here?
The roar as we came into the last 100 metres was fantastic. It was really good, really uplifted.
Pat Sweeney, before you go, they gave you one or two anxious moments there, but produced in the final 100 metres or so.
Yeah, it's really good. It's very good. They, everybody was up for that one. With the paired breakage, you know, Steve and Andy were up.
You got it?
Yeah.
Confirmed
Easy.
win.
Easy. Yeah, no, it's very good. Very good. It's very good. I think we led it all the way down. The Italians came at the last part, but we kicked away again from
A British victory indeed, and here comes confirmation of that result after the photo finish. Great Britain winning in a time of 1:17.46, with the Italians rather surprisingly beating the Soviet Union into second place. So Great Britain win the team event with 25 points, 3 more than the Soviet Union. The Italians finished third on 17. France finished fourth with 11 points. Well, time now for the official presentations as the British team step forward one at a time. The presentations being made by the General Manager of Air France in the United Kingdom and Ireland, Monsieur Bernard Morel. So it's been a happy day for Great Britain. It didn't always look that way, but it certainly turned out to be a tremendous victory for them.
Well, there we are then, further evidence of the strength of rowing in Britain at the moment. Hope you've enjoyed it, and maybe we've done enough here to tempt you out of your armchairs and onto the riverbanks next time there's an event on like this somewhere near you. And as we say goodbye now, we'll leave you with some of the highlights.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,